Alright, welcome everybody. Today's video finds us over here in Ayutthaya. And what we're going to take a look at, other than the elephants that are passing me by here, is we're going to take a look at a temple that was built in about 1369 or so. We're going to look at Wat Phra Ram. This is one of the oldest sites here in Ayutthaya, and it was built, I guess, on the funeral pyre of the first Ayutthaya king, King Utthang. Anyway, let's look around here and let's see what we see. So I'm right over here, and what they do is the Thais come over here. There's a little elephant crawl right over this way, and they ride the elephants over here and they take some pictures and stuff like that, and it's a great time for them. But the temple we're going to go to is just on the other side of this little bog, and it's this Khmer prong right over here. We got some guys over here doing some weed whacking. So let's walk over here to this temple and let's see what we see. So we got a little pond over here, and it has a Khmer style prong. Now it was King Borommaracha I, I think, that commissioned this temple to be built. He was the son of King King Utthang, and he was king for like a year, and then he abdicated the throne, and his brother, I think, took over, and then he later on became king again. And they built it on the site of where King Utthang was cremated. And back in the old days, that used to be a way to make merit, is you would build a temple on the site of where somebody was cremated, and then you would donate that to the monkhood, and that was a way of making merit. And they would also donate like valuables like gold and everything, and they would put it into like a crypt here, and that was like another way for them to make merit. So let's take a look at these elephants that are coming this way, and then we'll go into the temple. So you can see they're riding on by, the Malut there hanging out. Yeah, the Thais loved coming over here and doing it. Elephants are such a part of their culture, and this thing is so massive. And they come over here, they feed them, and then they ride on them. And there's a great photo spot over here where they can have Wat Phra Ram right behind them. Now this is a pay site, so it is 50 baht to get in here, or if you do the multi-package, it's 220. Then they have a little model over here of what the temple used to look like. Now, I believe the last time this temple was restored was in 1741. There was another king, King Borommaracha, that did a lot of restoration of a lot of these temples here. He was a pretty important king as far as it goes for restoration of all of these temples. So this is a fantastic site. Now this is overshadowed. Not too many people come over here and look at it compared to Wat Phra Sanphet that's nearby. But this is absolutely fantastic. So we have a wehan right here in front, and you can see the Khmer style prong right behind. All right, let's take a look inside this wehan. This is a long, narrow wehan, and you can see the bases right there of where they had some Buddha images. So that was a pretty good sized Buddha that was sitting right there. You can see the plasterwork's been redone around the base of it. And then right over here are a bunch of chetties. You can see that one right there. That one kind of looks a little bit like a Sukhothai style. And then there's another prong over there, and then 3 of the bell-shaped chetties right on this side. There's just chetties all through this temple ground here. You can see they came in and they restored this plaster around the base of it, and they do it, and in a few years it fades off and looks pretty old, and then some of the parts of the Buddhas and stuff, they're just stacked up there. And then this would have led over here to the prong, and you can see they've restored a little bit of the bricks and stuff. And that sun's pretty bright. I hope that doesn't glare on the camera. Now inside of this there's a crypt that has some old mural paintings, and you can't get inside there to see it, which is a shame. I'd really like to see that. And over here, this is the cloister, the little walkway. So this would have been covered. You could see here they have the base of the columns and stuff, and there would have been Buddhas sitting the whole length of the cloister. and it would have surrounded this whole thing here. Now what's cool is it has all these small little chetties that were around it. This is a fantastic site, and you can see how the plaster work is done there, and then inside this small little like satellite chetty you can see the standing Buddha and some of the other figures. And you can see the stairwell. You used to be able to go up there and walk around it. You can see where they've kind of restored a little bit of the brick right there on the front. You can see how they're a little bit lighter color. And this would have had a little like moondrop on the front of it. And then these small little ones. So there have been 4 of these on the cardinal directions. Yeah, this is a fantastic site right here. I really like seeing these Khmer style chetties that you see in the early Ayutthaya. So let's walk around the little cloister, and then there's tons of little small buildings all through here. And then it all just goes around. And then the relic chamber will be open to the east. We can look up at it, but we can't climb up and see inside of it. You can see the remains of the Buddhas and stuff here around this cloister. And this would have been like a little entrance into it. And you can see like a Buddha head over here. This would have been fantastic. Check out that little arch with the prong right behind. Yeah, really cool. And then there's just tons of chetties and the base of chetties all around. And then there's like little shrines and stuff like that. Now this temple was pretty important. It's over here by Wat Phra Sanphet, and also the Grand Palace, the former Grand Palace of Ayutthaya, was just probably maybe 300 or 400 meters away from here. So this would have been a very, very important temple. This would have been built on and built on over the years, and that's why you see so many different buildings and everything here. So over here on the east side, now what you see here is tons of laterite stones. Look at that right there. And then they plastered over it. So they used the laterite stones to build the base of this. And then right there you could see like an image. That would have probably been on each of the 4 corners. It would have been the huge Garuda is what it looks like to me. And then this would have looked like that one on the other side. And then this would have been the little relic chamber. So you at one time could have climbed up there and went into all of them. But you can see they got it closed off now. Yeah, and they carved those laterite stones. They made the steps out of them. And then right in there, that is the relic chamber. And I would love to get in there one day and see those murals, but I've never been able to. It's been closed ever since I've been coming to Ayutthaya. And then this goes around here a little bit more. Let's look at this hall right here on the east side of the chetty. And this is what's left here. I don't know if this was a ordination hall or a wehan over here, but it would have had a covered walkway. You can see what's left of the columns here. They would have been every like 4 meters or so, and it would have supported the walkway around this building. And then you can see the entrance to the temple over here, these really cool gates that they used during the Ayutthaya era. Yeah, this is a fantastic example of the Ayutthaya style gates. And then the wall would have been like this high right here, would have been covered in plaster, would have been white, would have been fantastic. And then they would have had all the little imagery and stuff like that. And you would have came through the gate. This is on the east side. And you would have went right in here. This is an ordination hall. So you would have came in here. And I just love the way that the Ayutthaya style buildings were. So you had like a little porch here on the front. And then you would have came into the hall. This was a pretty good sized hall. Looks like it had the columns on the inside. So the walls wouldn't have been load bearing. They would have had these support columns inside. You can see how they constructed these. And then this is the top. This would have been up at the very top supporting the roof, and it's just down here now. And then they would have had a huge pedestal here and another massive image with all the smaller ones all around. You just see the bases. Now in the old days, after Ayutthaya burned in 1767, a lot of people came over here the locals came over here and they decapitated a lot of these Buddhas. And then they also looted these prongs and everything. They drilled into them and found the gold and everything and took that. But this whole city was abandoned after the fall, and it burned and was a terrible scene. You see more of the chetties and stuff. A couple tourists over here. We got some more chetties out here in a small little hall, like a little shrine over here. Yeah, when I say small, it's small compared to the ordination hall in the Wehan that we first looked at, but it's massive. Would have been huge at any other temple other than some of these main temples in Ayutthaya. This is pretty cool. This is like one of the four corners of that little cloister. You can see how they had the little windows there also. There would have been two images at each of the corners, and then it would have been kind of leading you around this main prong. Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, this is one of the pay sites. So you got to pay 50 baht to get in here, or it's one of the 6 that you pay. That's 220 baht for a foreigner, or 10 baht to come in for a Thai, or 50 if they want to see all 6 of them. And it's worth it. This is one of my favorite. I really like it. It's not crowded like if you went to Wat Mahatat and Wat Ratchaburna, and the ruin is just absolutely amazing. And it does date back to 1369 or something like that. There's a little bit of controversy about when it was built and when it was finished. It was probably finished like around 1440. It took quite a while to build this, but it is a massive site. And it was early Ayutthaya, so there wasn't as large of a population back then as there was around the fall. At one time, I think there was like 1 million people living in this area. But you know, in the 1350s, the city was just founded. And there were other people here. There was like Dewati settlements here around, and all of that in this area. And they built on top of a lot of those old ruins. Yeah, you can see a couple of the bases and then that old temple wall. But you can see how they constructed these. It's kind of interesting how they came in from the center, or came out from the center, and built it in these kind of layers, and then they filled it in, and then they would have built the prong on top. And then this swamp at one time was quite a bit smaller, but they took dirt from around this swamp and they used it to fill in low places around the Grand Palace and around these temples. So the swamp kind of grew, and it's fairly good size now. And you can see here a little bit of what's left of one of the small little satellite chetties. It's got the 12 corners, and this would have went up to a point, and the top is missing, and the relic chamber is open, and then there would have been an image over here, and then this looks like would have been maybe a smaller chetty also. Yeah, just tons of them. All right, so we'll take one last look here. We're back over to the first hall. You can see the main prong and all these smaller little chetties and everything like that. Really a nice site. I would definitely recommend, if you're here in Ayutthaya, come over here and see it. And you can walk over to see Sanphet. See Sanphet is right over that way, and it's one of the main sites. And then that's where everybody rides the elephants, and then this is the entrance when you come on in here. That'll finish up our video over here at this Phra Ram temple. This is fantastic. I really like this one. This one is kind of a hidden gem to me, even though it is one of the major ruins. It just doesn't get the tourists and the huge crowds that you get at the other temples. But to me, this is really, really nice. I gave you a kind of a quick overview. Now what I'm going to try to do, and I came over here to fly the drone around it. I want to fly the drone and give you kind of an aerial view. So hopefully I'll be able to get some good drone video. If I do, I'll put it into the video so you can see it. But the prong itself is very, very cool. Unfortunately, you can't climb up there to see inside of that relic chamber. It would probably be hard to see it anyway. I'm sure the murals are faded really, really bad, but I still would like to take a look at them. Maybe one of these days. It's on my list of things to see if I ever get a chance here in Ayutthaya. But yeah, you get a good look at the Khmer styling and the early Ayutthaya. and it's really a neat ruin from 1369 or whenever it was built. So anyway, if you enjoyed the video, smash the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, stick around. And if you have any questions or comments, ask me down below, or if you know more about this old temple than I do, I'll put the best description I can down in the video description so you can read a little bit more about it. But if you know more, leave me a comment, tell me. I would really like to read a little bit more. I always like to know more about all of this old stuff. So until next time, from over here in Ayutthaya, remember, life is a journey. Until next time, enjoy.